thought it could be better. Now I'm a branded and stepper. If I am guilty.
So guys, how much for my weight cut bath water? Asking for a friend.
Then I will pay. Now I'm a victim by the words men say, and now I'm wanted. There's a price on my head so high, so high.
You got a business, like if you got a, I don't even know, like I don't know, like a cleaning business, and no one knows about you. Like you need to be known. Like how, otherwise, how are you gonna get work, right? So I was just in Australia and I'm thinking, well, I need to be known, need to be seen. Otherwise, I'm never gonna get these opportunities because no one knows about me. So I just thought, okay, well, I'm just gonna put myself out there, you know, and just go for it and get known. And I mean, I had it all anyways because I was bodybuilding. Like it was all just really natural for me, and I just didn't hold it back at all. And when everyone was like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't be doing that, you should be more like Katie Taylor," and I'm like, "Well, I'm Ebanie Bridges, like, so I'm gonna be me and do what I want to do." And you know, people are gonna like it or they don't, and I didn't really care, you know. And I wanted people to tune in. And boxing is 90% men. I mean, fans. Now there's more women fans recently, but it's majority men. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, well, I've got it. So I mean, I just got to think smart and go, well, why would I hide my femininity when most of the fans are men? And if I can get them in somehow, whatever way it be, get them in to watch, then they can see me fight. Once they see me fight, they're gonna be like, holy shit, like this girl can fight, because I knew I could fight. You know what I mean? So I had no doubt in my boxing skills, my heart, and my style is very fan-friendly. But I just needed to get them to watch. The only way to get non-female boxing fans to watch is to do something different, because it was very niche. You know, like the female boxing fans were always going to watch it because they're fans of women's boxing. But to get more fans, you need to do something different, because what you're doing isn't what you've already been doing and always been doing is not getting any more fans. So I was just like, I just went out there and just was a bit different. And you know, obviously that was with my thing, and then you've got obviously Eddie Hearn, and 2020 was a huge year for women's boxing, you know, because they were showcasing us a lot more.
Yep.
So the world got to see a lot more women's boxing, you know, and that was partly because we're cheap. And when there's no crowds and there's no gates, ticket sales, I mean, you're gonna put on women's fights because they're cheaper to host than a men's fight, but it worked. Because then everyone realised that women's boxing's amazing, you know, and it's just as good as the men, if not at the moment, currently better, because we're actually fighting each other and we have good fights. So, I mean, it's just
I don't like what she's doing in that way. The way she's bringing the eyes to the sport, they're the wrong eyes. You know, I'd rather be respected. I mean, she's loving it, so it's good on her. Just keep doing her, I'll keep doing me. But you know, I'd much rather people respect me for what I'm doing inside and outside of the ring, rather than just what I look like. I'd love to stop her, but you know, I just believe I'm going to win. It doesn't matter how. I don't.
So now I want to talk about Ebanie Bridges. Ebanie Bridges was in a fight against Shannon O'Connell, lady I'd never heard about before. Apparently they had some rivalry back in Australia. So big was the rivalry, they couldn't have the fight in Australia, had to bring it to England, Leeds to be specific, where Ebanie Bridges, by way of her antics, has managed to grow some sort of fan base. And it has very little to do with the boxing, of course, but what she's trying to sell alongside that. And that brings me to my personal opinion of Ebanie Bridges. Yes, she might have won against Shannon O'Connell, I believe her name was. I still think she's a shitty fighter. I think that she got caught and any other fighter would have taken her out. I think she looks dreadful when she's fighting. She looks nothing like the image she tries to convey when she's in that lingerie. When she's in a fight, she looks like a dog. She looks, the more you look at her, even when she's not fighting, the less attractive she becomes anyway. I mean, that it is what it is. I think it tends to suggest that a lot of things about her are quite superficial. The blonde, the tits, the tattoos, the teasing. Somebody wrote about her new venture, which is OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Somebody said, like, what's the big deal with a 40-year-old teasing people on OnlyFans? She's 40 years old. And this is when she decides to find OnlyFans based upon the fact that she's been able to build a fan base of very thirsty working class men in England. She doesn't even do it in her own country. She has to bring it to Leeds and tantalize and titillate, tantalize and titillate these very thirsty working class men up in Leeds who want to shout things like "get your tits out, love" and all this type of stuff. But what's rather ironic about that is that she must be a nightmare to work with. All the officials on stage went with her when she decides to reveal or take off her top and show this revealing negligee, or this revealing underwear that she tends to do her weighings on. All the men have to look forward and not look at her, because the slightest glance you give at her, the slightest glance you give this lady, someone's going to capture it and say that you're thirsting over her. It's an absolute fucking nightmare. You cannot look at this girl. You cannot look at her like you'd look at other boxers, because the moment you do that, when she's on stage doing that, you just have to look forward. You have to be disciplined. You can't laugh. You can't do nothing, because somebody's going to capture that moment and suggest that you're perving over this woman who's deliberately doing this in order to create the impression that everybody's perving over her anyway. So in my opinion, regardless of what anybody wants to say about that shitty fight she had against Shannon O'Connell, who, it's a shame didn't win. Didn't beat her ass. And she's a bully too. She's a nasty foul-mouthed bully. Everything about this girl is very low class. She's trash. I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame that Shannon O'Connell didn't beat her. But I've got to say, regardless of what anybody wants to say about Shannon O'Connell, and she's not a very pretty lady herself, it is what it is. She did call it right when it comes to Ebanie Bridges. Ebanie Bridges is in fact a skanky. Skanky got to see it 3 times. Stripper. She's a stripper and she's a skank. So she's a skanky stripper.
To be the MC, they say Peter Metro chat too much Spanish. They said for Josie Wheel to be the MC. They said Josie Wheel chat too much badness. They said for Brigadier to be the MC. They say Brigade chat too much Christianity. They said for Sassafras to be the MC. They say Sassa come from the ass family. They want a DJ with suit everybody. They said na limousine with 10 police to Escatello man up to Inter.
So Teofimo Lopez, it seems like Teofimo Lopez didn't win the confidence vote. He didn't win the confidence vote with his fight against Sandor Martin. If I'm not mistaken, Sandor Martin was a late replacement for somebody else he was supposed to fight, and Sandor Martin's a southpaw. Alright, but all in all, Sandor Martin could box. I mean, people made a big deal about Sandor Martin beating Mikey Garcia. I don't know what all the fuss was about, but they make a big deal out of it because it was Mikey Garcia. And here comes this guy out of nowhere, out of Spain to be specific. You know what I'm saying? Sergio Martinez, and who else comes from there? Laraca or something like that. And Kiko Martinez of late. Here comes Sandor Martin, and he takes out Mikey Garcia, so they line him up for Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is making a big deal about, he can't wait to get to 140. He's going to fuck up Josh Taylor and everything else. And, back then, we kind of liked Josh Taylor a bit. Josh Taylor turned out to be a real total prick anyway. He's a right-wing nut job, you know what I'm saying? Very nasty piece of work. But, we got to separate the man from his boxing. And, unfortunately, the fight that he had against Jack Cattrall sort of reduced the admiration that anybody might have for him down a notch, because apparently he got a gift there too. So here we are talking about gifts. Once again, we're talking about gifts. Wasn't Josh Taylor? Wasn't he with Top Rank when he got that gift? Forgive me. You know what I mean? Here's the thing that I do not like. The reason why. I mean, I'm gonna say it again, and since it might sound quite trite. Here's the thing. I do not take boxing seriously at all anymore. You know what I mean? I was trying to listen to a good guy today, and he's getting excited, and he's talking about the fight between Josh Taylor and forgive me, Josh Warrington and this guy Alberto Lopez, and he's describing it and he's getting excited, and I'm thinking, you know what, man, I just can't get into it with you like that. I can't get into it with I just switched off, and it's a shame, because prior, I think a few years ago, I would have been following him, I would have been listening to what he was saying and everything. I just switched it off, and then I thought, like, okay, let's think out the box. Let's go listen to one of those, the leader of the Nignogs, the Deontay Wilder camp over there, and see what they have to say. He's got something up. Robbery. And, he writes robbery, then he's got Terrence Crawford, and then of course he writes about Teofimo Lopez. So when you see the robbery there, I mean, that just might be a lack of education, basically, you know what I'm saying? Or it just might be clickbait. It could be one of the two. When you write robbery, and the next thing after that, it is Terrence Crawford rather than Teofimo Lopez. You got a whole, and you understand that there is a contentious, that particular issue with Terrence Crawford is a contentious issue. There's some underhand bullshit that goes on, and then you sit back and say, "Oh, I don't want no part of it," but you're feeding it. You're feeding it. You're feeding it, bro. Anyway, it is what it is. But you're entitled to do what you want. But like I said, I can't really get into this whole boxing thing. From top to bottom, from root to branch, it's just fucked. It's just fucked. And I'll go back to Top Rank in a minute. But anyway, this dude, he makes a video and he claims, "Oh, robbery." He believes that it was a robbery, and I don't know whether it was a robbery or not. The little clips that I saw, okay, with Teofimo Lopez and Sandro Martin. I think Sandro Martin boxed, and Teofimo Lopez, he had quick hands. He got dropped with a hook, with a check hook, but the scores were so skewed in favor of Teofimo Lopez that you got to ask the question: why is it okay for Top Rank to constantly rob people and everybody think, yeah, that's good promoting? That's just Bob Arum doing good promoting, doing what he's supposed to do. But if it's anybody else, everybody comes down on them. Everybody comes down like a ton of bricks. Well, yeah, it's a robbery, man. It's corruption. Blah 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 blah. I mean, yeah. I mean, they but nobody says anything when it's Top Rank. They just might say, "Oh, it's bullshit, man. That's alright." You know what I'm saying? They know Top Rank rigged these things. They know Bob Arum rigs these things, and yet they let him get away with it. They let Top Rank get away with it. And we can't keep on making excuses that he doesn't give a fucking money. He should get the fuck off stage. A 92-year-old man still robbing people of their opportunities and their progression. And then he's got the fucking nerve to come back and say, like, "Oh yeah, Sandro Martin was running like a bandit, just destroying people's reputations out there, like he did with Guillermo Rigondeaux." I'm sick of this guy, and I'm sick of the fucking people who apologize for this motherfucker all the time. What the fuck is he got? He's 92. Go sit down somewhere. I don't even think it's something to admire because he doesn't really conduct himself in a way that should be admired. He's corrupt as fuck, and the only thing is he's allowed to get away with it due to his age. He can talk a whole bunch of shit about everybody else. Everybody knows he's fucking bitter as fuck. And they let him just do shit, like rob people, and then claim that, yeah, he's doing some great service for boxing or some shit. And I understand why a lot of people give him grant him that license, let me say. Because it's twofold. Some of them don't like Eddie Hearn, and some of them don't even like PBC. So he's out there, he's that sort of alternative that motherfuckers who hate one promoter or the other can run to and claim like, "Oh yeah, he's legendary." Like the Lou DiBellas and shit. Look at the fucking deal they put together for Devin Haney. That's fucking bullshit. They just wasted all that money. You gave all that fucking money to George Cambosos just because you tried to freeze that dude out. And you want to claim that somebody else is a shitty promoter. You gave all that money, a whole bunch of money, to George fucking Cambosos in the hope that you would freeze out Devin Haney, and you still had to hand it over anyway. And you want to claim that the person who's wasting money is Eddie Hearn. I suppose, as a fan, if you are appreciative of Devin Haney, then so be it. And then how come, as a promoter, you're not happy with Devin Haney, despite the fact that this guy's got the belt, you're his promoter, you should be promoting hardcore as the undisputed. But you just leave it at that. He becomes undisputed against the fucking tide, against headwinds, against massive headwinds gushing in his face. He rides it out. Despite every obstacle you put in this motherfucker's way, he becomes undisputed. Okay? And you don't counter the people who say like, "Okay, you know what, man? He's boring. He's this, he's that." Get the fuck out of here, man. They let Bob Arum get away with too much shit for me. They let him get away with way too much shit. And the situation with Teofimo Lopez is another one of those situations there. Now, I don't necessarily know whether he was robbed completely or whether it was a robbery completely. I'm talking about Sandro Martin here. But at the end of the day, Bob Arum coming out and saying like, "Oh, it's hard to find a guy like that. He was running like a bandit." He wasn't running that much. He boxed. And if he was running, how come he dropped Teofimo? It was a good drop. It was a good check hook to keep it a buck with you. It looked like a check hook anyway. So there you go, man. That's all I got to say on that, man. So Teofimo Lopez, man. Fuck Teofimo Lopez. I feel, people are making excuses for Teofimo Lopez. Oh, he's got problems at home. Stop being gossipers. Stop gossiping about that shit. That's got nothing to do with you. I don't think anybody's really got it good at home sometimes when you're a celebrity like that. You understand me? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. But motherfuckers are putting motherfuckers' business out there. He's got problems with his girl. So, who gives a fuck? Who
Who gives a fuck? People got problems with their moms being sick. People got problems with children that are sick. People got problems here and there, and they still go out and do their fucking job. You understand me? When motherfuckers want to be out here making, they just want to gossip. They just want to gossip about a woman. That's what they want to do. That's really what intrigues you about the whole situation right there. Because you wouldn't have any kind of other interest in the matter if it didn't have to do with a woman and the fact that he married somebody and who cares? Shit happens. Shit happens. As far as I'm concerned, watching Tiffany Lopez's character, he's a guy who tends to embellish situations anyway, exaggerate and lie. He exaggerates and lies. Oh, I couldn't breathe. Oh God. Oh yeah. Zone set me up so I'd lose the belt. Oh, he's a liar. He's an exaggerator, a sensationalist, and a liar. And after the fight, they catch him on camera saying like, oh, he's doubting himself. Everybody knows he was doubting himself. Instead of actually taking that, he still puts on a fucking performance, puts on a facade, starts attacking the other guy, saying like, oh yeah, I did this to you, I did that to you, we're running, man. You need to get me a better opponent, blah 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 blah. But you know damn well you underperformed. You know damn well you underperformed, bro. And you know that your power's not carrying up to 140. So fuck it, man. I'm fucked Top Rank.
So Conor Benn has put this statement out in relation and regards to the controversy about failing the test and just about to go into a fight with Chris Eubank Jr. that got cancelled at the very last minute. Now I don't like how that was done, but it is what it is. We've moved past that and now we have to concentrate on the allegations made against Conor Benn. And I'm reading this and I'm thinking to myself, this is a whole bunch of nothing. This is a guy who's just talking a lot and saying absolutely fuck all. I read it and I just thought, I had to skip through it. I kind of knew because by the time I saw it, there wasn't anybody claiming like, oh, Conor Benn claims there's evidence that he's been found innocent or anything. There was nothing concrete. It was just like, oh, Conor Benn puts out a statement. So I skimmed through it and it's just bullshit. I mean, to read some of it, let's just quickly skim through it. I think I can probably give it a shot. It says, I want to start by saying this has been a very difficult time, not just for me, but my family and my team. I couldn't have got through this without the love and support of those closest to me and my supporters who have stood by me. I am very grateful. I am forever grateful. My team and I have worked extremely hard over the past 7 years to make me the fighter I am today. We have never cut corners or cheated the grind in any way. We believe in work ethic, determination and pure heart to achieve what we have set out to accomplish. It's been really hard for me to accept that people think that I would do what I was accused of. But what I have come to realize is people rush to judgment without knowing the facts, especially people in the boxing community and most disappointingly, even those that know me. Although I kept away from social media, I'm well aware of those who have thrown dirt on my name. I'll forgive, but I won't forget. Oh, dear, oh dear. It says, Tony Sims has had a clean gym for 26 years. I respect the gym. No one is bigger than the gym. Hard work and dedication is what we stand for. We don't condone cheating or cutting corners. I'm thankful to my dad who has been with me through this whole period, and I'm glad this nightmare is coming to an end for the sake of our combined mental health. Mental health, the M word. Never did we think we'd go through something like this, but they say the hardest fight is life and the adversity it brings. I want to make up for lost time and not let another moment go to waste. Really, are you about to do that? Oh, this is the second part actually. Oh, actually, that's the first part. And this is the second part. It says, boxing is my life. I've been through hardships in my career before and nothing like this. I believe in life, you go through the adversity of all kinds, but what matters most is how you respond. I've stayed in the gym and continue to work extremely hard, staying positive that my innocence will be proven and the truth will come out. My team has proven my innocence. And the truth will soon come out. Until then, I won't be commenting further due to confidentiality. Forgive me. There were times I fear it never would be. There were times I fear it never would be. It never would, but we all had faith. There are times I feared it never would, but we all had faith. I'm thankful to everyone who supported me through this tough time. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. I want to puke. We keep it moving and we'll continue to chase the end goal of being world champion. It's a minor setback for a major comeback. But now I'm looking forward to sharing Christmas privately with my family, and we'll be back in January. See you all in 2023, the year I become a world champion. Well, promises. Because you know what? Prior to this, we were promised that within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we were going to get some answers to some very, very serious questions. And yet still, We haven't got any answers. He's just claiming that he's innocent. His team has proven he's innocent, and yet we don't see the evidence. Who cares, man? I think everybody's past Kerry right now. When we look back at your videos right now, it does seem like you were using to keep it a buck with you. I saw a video of him that I had recently. That I had a while ago. I kept a while ago. And I felt like, oh God, this guy's improving dramatically. Now I look back at it, I think he might have been juicing. That's why he was so effective on the pads. It is what it is. He might have been juicing. He might not have. I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm kind of leaning towards the fact that he might have been juicing, to keep it real with you. When you look at his body type and you look at how aggressive he became, you know. So, as many of you have probably heard, Inoue beat Paul Butler to become the undisputed champion at 118 pounds. Undisputed, and there were quite a few people who couldn't wait. They were already pronouncing him to be the best fighter in the world. And now that he's become undisputed after beating Paul Butler in Japan, there are some people are quickly tagging him. There's an ESPN ranking system that just came out as soon as he won, claiming that he's number 1 pound for pound above Terence Crawford. They couldn't wait to do that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I mean, hey, it is what it is. They're entitled to do whatever they want to do. But I do question though. I think that Inoue used to be one of my favorite fighters. I say used to, but I say used to because, you know, I don't watch him enough to say that he still is. And whenever I do watch him, I'm not necessarily interested enough to think like, oh yeah, I'm engaged the way I would be engaged in a Bivol fight, or the way I'd be engaged in a Terence Crawford fight, so to speak, or anybody else. I think that Inoue just seems on the periphery of anything that's happening in the centre of boxing to sort of transport him to the middle of it and say that he's number 1 pound for pound, or even Usyk, to put him above Usyk, or even any of the other guys out there. It just seems a bit contrived for me. I mean, yeah, he's a great fighter, but number 1 pound for pound though? Can we really argue that Inoue at this moment in time, because he's undisputed at 118 and in fact most of his competitors at 115, is the number 1 pound for pound? And of course, you know, they make the argument that he couldn't stay in 115 and fight those guys because he was sort of by contract forced to move up due to some kind of contract that he had, and that had to do with the WBO. I mean, they make the argument. It was something I heard quite a while ago. I don't necessarily, it sounded convincing at the time, but I really didn't pay that much attention to it. But that being said, you know what I'm saying, you've got a whole bunch of commentators out there, particularly people of the ilk of Mike Coppinger, you know, pounding their chest and you see, we're right, he's number 1 pound for pound, he's the greatest fighter we've ever seen. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, he's great, but number 1 pound for pound though, I'm still against that. I still feel it's contrived. I still feel that they're rushing this guy to traffic, and the same thing that happened to Chocolate Gonzalez is going to happen to him.
It seems she didn't care about me.